Kalen Patterson, Midwest Muscle at the Kansas City Classic. I'm here with Kareem. This guy, this guy. You just had a show, and now you're out in the Midwest. What brings you out here?
Coming out here to support the organization. So Fred Roland and I are the IFPA co-chairman, and so coming out here to support the Pro International. And plus, this show is a little dear to my heart. I turned pro like in 2002, and this show was my first pro show and my first pro win back then. So it has a little special place in my heart.
Now, you actually said something that really surprised me. You didn't just come out here. You're actually representing the brand well with the IFPA because you said this is you.
Yeah, so basically what we've been doing on our shows is we're trying to create more opportunities, similar to what you were just speaking about, for natural athletes, whereas we're trying to feature them more in magazines, try to obtain more sponsorship for them. This year, IFPA will pay out more money than any other natural organization in history, and next year we plan on continuing to do that. So right now, we're doing like top three, was most of the other organizations are. We plan on going to fourth and fifth place, but right now, in total payout, we're more than anyone else within the sport.
So basically, you stepping your game up because, honestly, over the last couple of years, the competitors have stepped the game up too. And as being a competitor, I'm sure that's got to be a great feeling.
Yes, definitely. And we're trying to create more things for each other. As you see, I'm wearing my IPA Pro Elite shirt on. Got to sport that. Gym Lunatics. Then also some other things I've been doing, I'm playing around with my shows and trying to bring consistency across like the organization. Basically, OCB and NANBF work together as a family. Yep, exactly. And so I'm not sure if you've ever been to my shows on the East Coast. So like for the Charm City Classic on October the 18th, all the Pro Card winners will get a 42-inch TV. The previous years before that, we gave away $500 to each overall pro winner. This year at the DC Pro Classic that I had, I awarded out of my own pocket additional money to the pros, and also we gave away vouchers for trips to Vegas for the amateur overall winners. So that's something that we're going to continue to drive
put
forward.
your money where your mouth is.
Yes, definitely.
And I'm sure the competitors got to feel good about it. But like I said, as a competitor yourself, there were certain things I'm sure you had a hunger for on the other side. When you're thinking, okay, now I can transition. As a competitor and as a promoter, how do you juggle that to where it makes sense every day? Because sometimes low carbs can change your whole mindset.
Yeah, definitely. For the shows in that aspect, as an athlete, I know what I didn't like at certain shows. Like we all don't like for a show to not start on time. We don't like for the shows.
Meals.
Yes, exactly. And most of us, we're really into like timing. What we do.
Yes.
Yes. And so that taking that into consideration, also taking into consideration that most people that come out never have been to a bodybuilding show or they don't understand it. They basically come out to support someone.
Yes.
So we try to make things more interactive and intriguing for the general audience with not upsetting the athletes. So like if I'm an athlete and I'm backstage, I don't necessarily care too much to see someone else like guest posing or something like that. I'm like, well, I'm here to compete too, or like the show starting late, or it to be some level of confusion. And as you're seeing, a lot of our shows have grown exponentially over the years from the maturity that we have within the organization. Like I believe this show today has about 217 competitors running on 2 stages at the same time. When you start to scale and you meet that demand, when you have people who are dedicated like Jan and Fred to the sport and reaching up to that challenge and understanding,
And that's kind of a challenge to you too.
Yes, exactly. And it's in these shows, like Jan was saying, like I think she had like 67 pros, and she was talking about, I guess the turnout of the pros. And I told her, even from back when I competed in this show, that word of mouth travels pretty far when people have a good experience.
When it's a good show, yes.
Yes, exactly.
When it's judged fairly. There's so many components that go into a good show. I really don't think, you hear a lot of complaints, and, in social media, people kind of throw a little downplay to it, like I got cheated or robbed. They don't really understand all that entails a good show to happen.
Yes. And from a judging standpoint, another thing people don't know is that we audit the shows. So we go back and look at the judging panel and see who making sure that all the judges have been consistent with that, right? And if someone starts to drop below the consistency, we actually flag those people within the database to not be used anymore.
That's good knowledge, yeah.
And the NANBF does. Fred and Jan, they actually, in between all these different judging pieces, they sit down and they walk through their judges, and their judges are held accountable for their scores. So like if they're they're walking through the scores and someone like seems inconsistent, or someone says, hey, I felt as though this person should be here, that person has to justify themselves in front of their peers right then and there.
Okay.
Like
Wow.
at the show.
That's
So
news, yeah.
yeah. So that's really big, and I don't really know what other organizations are doing, but that's something that's huge for me.
Now you've got what is this, your booth over here too?
Yeah.
Well, let's walk over here right quick and then to take a look, because it seems like you're just busy with everything. Now, what was you talking about? Sick veins and gym freaks? Is this what you were talking about?
Yeah, so this Gym Lunatics. This is also my brand, and it's another way of me being able to offer opportunities for natural athletes. So one of our sponsored athletes is Rebecca LeBrake, and she'll be doing the amateur Yorton this year. And this is also the first year for the amateur portion of the Yorton that you had to qualify for.
Wow.
So you had to place top 5 in a pro qualifying show this year in order to do that show. And then, kind of like the Yorton where before you didn't have to qualify, but now you have to qualify.
Yes.
Now as the sport continues to grow, and again, we're always cognizant of what's going on with the organization, and as it starts to mature, we'll start to tighten that and raise the bar.
I mean, so it's basically no letdown with constant improvement. I mean, wow.
Yep. And like his stuff we have.
Well, let's
here.
get on this side so they can see everything, because you got quite an option over here.
This is all the IFPA Pro Gear stuff that we have. These are the IFPA men's Racerback like elite shirts. We have T-shirts. We have tanks for women, jackets for women, and for men as well. And so, this is us trying, to move forward in branding the organization. Some of the other things we have here are this is the Natural Muscle Network, which is basically OCB, IFPA, and NEMBF. And on the rear there, you can see our entire event calendar for the year.
Yes.
And we'll have these out again for 2015. So people, when they're at any of our shows, can pick this up to see where all the shows we're offering around the country.
Now, this doesn't happen by accident. That's a lot of coordination. How do you and Fred stay in contact with each other and still have good shows like you're having, and still, bring out this kind of representation?
We stay in contact pretty regularly through email, on the phone. We make trips out to see each other. So we're going to do some meeting while I'm here, and then when him and Jen fly out to the Yorton. So.
Well, you're representing well. Kareem, good meeting you. I mean, you're just an awesome dude. I love how you just brought your game up on both sides. That's really impressive, and to be able to be consistent really says something about your character. Kareem Featherwing, Kaylin Patterson, Midwest Muscle. We are out.